where the wrestling truth resides.
Well, let's not keep our guests waiting for much longer. We have the Superman Psycho himself. Give it up for Smiley.
What's going on, fellas?
Hey, how's it going?
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on. Geez, I haven't seen you. I think the last time we chatted was Pine State in Augusta.
Yeah, couple of years ago by now.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I was green as shit, and so was a little bit was Nick's, and we just stood there on the apron and watched you and A Game and Shotgun and Mike have a good match, and we're like, oh, we'll get in eventually. So thank you so much for joining the show. Like I said, I can't remember we brought you up in the passing at one of the shows. I'm like, shit, I'd love to have Smiley on. I wonder if he would be interested in it, and reached out to you, and you were 100% for it. So I thank you again very much for jumping on.
Yeah, no problem at all. I'm happy to be here. I love doing these things.
So we usually typically start like Levi usually does this, but like I said, he's right now hopefully winning a match or something like that in Primos. What started your wrestling career? Like, just give us just a backstory of basically your whole career up to this point.
Ironically enough, it was kind of on a whim. I always grew up having two goals in mind. I either wanted to be a stuntman or I wanted to be a wrestler. And when I graduated high school, my mom had bought me a ticket to California. She's like, go give it a shot. Try to be a stuntman. If it doesn't work, you can come home. I was out in California for probably like 10 months, and I was like homeless for 3 of them. Yeah, it was a trip. So, but I tried doing the stuntman thing. It's a lot of catch-22 stuff. Like, you got to know somebody to be on the big shows, but you can't be on the you got to be on the. You have to get reps to be on the big show, but you can't get reps unless you're on the big show. So it's like it's one of them catch-22 kind of situations. So like that didn't work out. I was doing like indie films and student films, and they were trying to kill me, have me jump out windows out into mattresses they found around town. So I chose the safer route, and I decided to get dropped on my head for a living instead. You know, smartness on me.
Yeah, that worked out great.
Yeah, I went back home. I'm originally from Maine, so born and raised. Then one day I was working out of a photo studio. I was a manager for a Sears photo studio, and my cousin called me up. And he's like, "Hey, me and your brother are gonna move to New York. You want to go?" I'm like, "All right." Like just out of nowhere, I'm like, "Sure." I walked right in, called my district manager, and I went, "I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. I'm going to New York." He's like, "When did you decide this?" I went, 10 minutes ago. It was like, screw it, why not? So
yeah, why not?
They left before me, so they got everything situated, and then I had to, finish up at work and get rid of I had an apartment and everything at the time, and moved to New York. And while I was literally like sitting at the bus station, waiting for my bus to come to New York, excuse me, I just got like this idea. I'm like, I'm just gonna look around, and I ended up on Tommy Dreamer's website, and I had texted Tommy Dreamer, emailed him because he's got the little email link. I'm like, hey, I'm moving to New York like right now, and like I'm thinking of looking into wrestling, but like I know you were trained by Johnny, so I know that's probably a good option. I see Amazing Red has a school. That seems like a good option. I know you've worked with him before. Like, what do you think is the best way to do it? And he kind of replied back like pretty quickly, and he goes, honestly, they're both good schools. He goes, to be honest though, Johnny's not going to get in the ring with you. He goes, Red probably will. He goes, so take that into consideration, and then whichever one you can afford. And I came down, I think it was like a week after I moved down, I went to the school, and just to sit in on a class. And I sat in on a class, and I watched them do their thing for a while. And like I stayed for like an hour, and I'm like, all right, I'll head out, and like I kind of got the grasp of what I wanted. And I went to leave, and Brian XL was like, Red's gonna be a bye if you want to stay. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. And I sat back down. Another 45 minutes goes by. I'm like, all right, I guess he's not coming. I go to get him. He's like, he's like half an hour away. He'll be right here. I'm like, oh, okay. I'll sit right back down. And like it happened like 3 or 4 times. And I went, is he coming? And he goes, no, I don't think he's coming. It's like, kept me here for like almost the whole class. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Which would be a funny little habit of Brian's is, oh yeah, it's coming. And he always makes good on his word. What he does promise does end up happening, but it's usually not in the time frame he tells you, which I love. But yeah, so I went to that sit-in on that class, and I'm like, all right, I got to get ready for this because I don't want to like just jump in not ready. I got to get ready for it. So I went home that night. I started to kind of like talk to my cousin about like working out and getting in better shape. And kind of like just get everything ready for when I do go to the school. And then I think it was like probably like 9 months later, something like that. I went to a show, an F Family Wrestling Entertainment show. Tommy Dreamer was on that one, and I got to speak to him a little bit. And then as I walk away, I spoke to him about how he encouraged me to be a wrestler. He goes, all right, cool. So why aren't you signed up for a school yet? And I went, oh, I was just trying to get ready. He goes, well, just do it. He goes, you'll get ready while you're there. I went, okay. So then I walk away, and then I go to a few tables down, and it's Jay Lethal. And I'm like, oh, like, are you like still a trainer over at House of Glory? Because I've seen the videos online. I stop by when I can, but I'm usually not in the area. He owns it though. And he points over, and it's Brian XL picking up his head from his phone. Doesn't remember me at all, of course, but like he starts picturing me at the school, and I'm like, all right, cool. That Tuesday I walked in, signed up, and just never wanted to leave the place. like I was always the first one in, the last one to leave. Like I actually, funny enough, I just found a video earlier today of like me 3 months into training, and it's like a highlight video of like me without a mask or anything. It's a highlight video. It's me, Mark Quinn from Private Party, and another guy who used to wrestle as Felix Rampage, or Alex Mason. He went on to be Alex Mason.
I know Alex.
Yeah. And we're like,
I have heard that name, yeah.
just doing dumb shit that we should not be doing at 3 months into training. Like I'm like standing Spanish flies, and like I think there was like a Canadian attempt or something. Like we're 3 months in, we should not be doing any of this stuff.
Oh. Canadian temp 3 months in, yeah, that'd be terrified of that.
I think I met Alex like 3 years, probably three, not even 2 or 3 years after he'd started wrestling. So I could see that.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm from Maine. He's wrestled in Maine more than I have.
Where are you from in Maine?
Where
are you from in Maine?
Portland.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Yeah, Portland. I went to high school in Saco.
No, I kind of remember this because at the show, was it PSPW at the time? I can't remember which one.
I think that's what Big Cat was right.
Yeah, and I remember at the show, you had a bunch of family there. You're like, hey, man, my family's like here in the front row.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a whole bunch of friends show up, like friends, family, because they never really get to see me wrestle. I think I've wrestled in Maine like maybe 4 times in like 12 years I've been wrestling.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, we're gonna get him back up here for
Neil would book him.
Oh, I would love to come back up. Like my family always is like, hey, so when are you coming back up? Like when are you gonna wrestle again?
Hey, Johnny Primer.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, wasn't there a rumor going around that there was a possibility of thoughts of that, of the Wild versus Smiley and Mike again?
That would be cool. I would 100% do that again. Mike Grassa and Smiley are both on my list of guys I want to work again. So
yeah, that like I said, like we actually work because the first time we worked, we were green. It was before you got in here. Like we were just standing on the outside watching Shotgun and A Game and Smiley and Mike, and be like, oh, this is cool. We'll jump in whenever I guess.
Weren't you guys like enemies at the time too?
Yeah. I'm a perpetual heel. Everyone wants me to be a bad guy. They're like, oh, look at you, you're a bad guy. I'm like, then you meet me and you're like, oh, you're not really that way, are you?
Big Cat has too nice of a face to want to hate him,
Yeah, I have a pungy face.
As long as Tracy doesn't miss me again, we'll be okay.
I can't promise she won't.
I saw the picture of that somewhere, honestly.
Yeah.
I have the match.
Oh, God, she'd love it.
Match on my YouTube channel.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep. I went back and watched it actually.
Here, I'll pull it up while you guys are talking.
Oh God.
So
that was like me and Gross's first time back together in like a good couple years too.
My knowledge of your matches and stuff is very sporadic.
Yeah.
So there's one, and correct me if I'm completely wrong, but I think it's one that I pointed out very significantly. I'm pretty sure it was you and Orange Cassidy.
Huh.
Is that, correct me if I'm wrong? Was that ever a match that ever happened?
I mean, kind of. I wrestled Fire Ant.
Right. Okay. So it must have been Fire Ant, because I'm like thinking, was it Smiley or was it before or after that? Because I don't remember if that's what it was specifically, but I remember seeing something and I thought that it was you, and I was like, "Is that Smiley?" Like I wasn't sure if it was you or not.
If that's the match you're thinking of, that was Forza Lucha used to do like a yearly show.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I opened the show like a pre-show match where I did I think I might have done like an imaginary hardcore match because I was wrestling Kefka the Quiet, who does a mime gimmick.
Yep.
So we were doing like imaginary like hardcore spots.
I love that shit.
And then I won that one, and then I go on to the main show, and then the opening match is like it's me, Fire Ant, Oleg the Usurper, and Juan Francisco de Coronado.
Okay.
In like a four-way kind of elimination thing.
Hold
And
on.
after my match with Kefka, he beat me with an imaginary sledgehammer, so my leg was so injured that when Juan put on a submission, I just tapped out instantly.
Oh man, that's great.
Wow.
I love that.
And somewhere Jim Cornette is just spinning.
Oh God, he would have hated it. We straight up did the Necro Butcher spot where we put down fake chairs and like got into a deep squat like we're sitting in chairs to trade punches. Oh yeah. I was like imaginary throwing stuff into the ring and he's going, "Oh God." Trying to dodge it. It's awesome.
That's amazing.
Then I think I 450 a baguette into his chest.
As a guy that does the hardcore deathmatch shit, like that would be a very creative thing to do.
I've only tried the deathmatch thing a couple times, but it's fun.
What is okay? So while Big Cat's looking for stuff, what is the most deathmatchy or most hardcore thing that you've done? I guess in your career.
I did a tag team match up in Canada, and it was Aiden Rain and Warhead from Death Proof Fight Club versus me and Madman Pondo.
Oh God. Okay.
And it was like a fans bring the weapons kind of match, and it was so much fun, like way more fun than it ever had any right to be.
It was amazing to work with.
And then we were doing stuff like I remember there was one guy in the crowd who had like a jean vest on, and it has the gimmicks that the people hammer into somebody's head.
It could be gussets, Ken's
gussets, the gussets.
Yeah, gussets.
And I'm trying to like run Aiden Rain's like head into his chest, and he's going, "Do it!" And like somebody got the funniest picture of just this human being going, "Oh!" I'm like, he looks like he's doing like the No Mercy gimmick when you like collide into each other. Oh yeah.
Those matches are fun until the next day. The next day is when it's like,
yeah,
oh my God, I wish I didn't do this.
He still has gusset scars from a month ago on my arm, so I understand.
Yeah, you do the extreme.
I was kind of upset though, because like I was looking forward to like bleeding. Like I'm like, oh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna bleed everywhere. I had a white mask and everything.
Right.
I'm gonna like, this is gonna be great. And I got like a little bit busted open in the head, and I took the skewers from Warhead.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna bleed.
Yeah.
And all of the blood just sat here in the mask because like it was an open top mask. But because it has like a little crown piece that kind of comes up like this, it just all sat right there. I'm like, everybody else gets to bleed. Why don't I get to bleed?
That's why I feel bad for people that wear masks if they do death matches. Like you have like Arrow Boy, you have Cruel, you have guys like way back in the 2000s that wear masks, and you're like, they're not bleeding underneath the mask at all.
No.
So I feel bad for them.
Did you ever hear the story with Dalton? With that, he didn't wrestle, and I think he took
Dougie Weiser, yeah.
he took a break and then he did a show with Aggro and Danger Kid. I can't remember who else was there. Was it Alec? Was there
It
too?
might have been Alec. I think it
Yeah.
was. It was down in New York.
Yeah,
Is that when they broke the mirror?
Yes,
Is that
I think
same show?
so.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
he was doing a spot, and for some reason, him and another wrestler collided and busted Dalton open, Dougie open,
And he's wearing
and he's wearing a mask. So the whole time he didn't know, but as soon as he pulled the mask off, just all coming down. He's like, "Oh shit, I got myself good."
I got a couple masks like that are still stained with blood inside because like it doesn't go nowhere because it's wrapped tightly across your head.
Yeah. The worst one I've ever had. So I used to wear face paint. Actually, it wasn't a lot. It was just like a stripe across my nose. I did it because I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, and it's Quinlan Voss basically. And I took, I got eliminated from the ring. Guy gave me a clothesline. As he came down, he caught me right here with his knee. So he hit the floor, and I just feel like something run down my cheek. I'm like, what the? I do this, and I pull my hand back. It's purple. I'm like, what the hell is purple? I'm like, oh, I'm wearing blue face paint.
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I'm like, what's purple?
Look who can join
Bleeding
the
Kool-Aid.
chat.
Oh,
Look at the they're so butthurt. I'm not here tonight. I'm ignoring the
He's out there
comments.
wrestling on a show, and he's just commenting on the screen.
He must
Oh, that's right. He's on a show tonight.
Yeah, he must be sitting there waiting for him to just go on or something like
Do you know
that.
what Dylan Nix's comment? After I'd done my first ever death match in Indiana for Mid-South, I came back to Maine and I did a fair show, family-friendly fair show. This was like 2 or 3 months after it had been done. And I had a big gaping hole right here in my forehead, and I like barely patched up. And I went to go wrestle at then Channing Thomas, and it was Danger Kid, and it was me and Tim Lennox, and we were doing a tag match, and they did like synchronized super kicks while I put my hand up, and for some reason Channing Thomas kicked me in the forehead, and I went out onto the floor or onto the grass, and I look down at the grass and I go, oh, when did they paint this side of the grass red? No, that's not paint. That's just my blood completely opened up, just pouring on the ground in front of an entire like kids friendly show. Sat there and was like, oh no, like what do I do? My manager just puts a bandana and like wraps it tightly around my forehead, and he goes, yeah, you should be fine, just like how it felt like with a mask. And the next thing I know is I get into the ring for the hot tag, and the bandana just comes flying off, and it's just blood just spewing.
Oh,
JP O'Reilly. I didn't know I was going to get kicked in the face from a super kick.
Yep, Channing Thomas.
actually, you get a kick out of this one. The very first match for Smiley ever was a 3-on-3 with against Necro Butcher.
Oh no!
And
oh no!
It was me, Anthony Gangone, and Damian Gibbs versus Craven Varro, Andy Lee Ray, who does a Pokemon gimmick.
Yep, I know.
It was weird when you see him standing side by side with Necro Butcher. And then goes Necro Butcher. And Necro comes out headbutting a chair.
Yeah.
And mind you, this is kind of like more Beyond style, where it's basically just a bunch of wrestlers surrounding the ring.
Yeah.
There was no fans. It was just a bunch of wrestlers surrounding the ring for a YouTube taping. He's headbutting a chair. He pulls the chair down, looks up at us, and he's already covered in blood. And we're like, oh, great.
Goldberg himself.
And I got Anthony goes walking behind me. Goes, oh, my God, he's doing already.
All I can think is Sandman coming out of the crowd drinking the beer, just
smashing the
Oh, yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. I mean, I get Sandman. His entire thing was it. I'm gonna work a show with him one day. He's gonna beat me for this, but like for Sandman, his entire thing was his entrance.
Yeah,
When Enter Sandman hit and the crowd's screaming, you know, along with Enter Sandman, I get getting hype about it, you know.
I got this match.
He found it.
I did.
I still have that gear. I don't wear it anymore though.
Oh man, look at this throw. What? How old is this?
This is
This is my 41st match.
3 years ago.
Do you write them all down?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I got a spreadsheet. It's got every match I've ever had in it.
Yep.
I think I'm up to like, am I up to 600 yet? Somewhere near there.
Wow.
I
Never writing everything down. I have
creeping
so
up on
much
200
saved in my like all on my media stuff, like everything. But as far as like statistics. I never wrote anything down, and I'm ashamed of myself.
You should have.
I would love. I'm at 160 right now. I'd love to do this summer
Not
around
awesome.
40 and hit 200 because that would be awesome.
Hey, Sunshine.
And once I saw people do
Cameron.
the writing gimmick, I was like, oh, like
Yeah.
that would have been a good idea to do. But now with me almost 11 years in the business, I'm like, yeah, I think it's a little too far beyond. I remember.
Yeah.
Such a young A game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my spreadsheet. I got everything written down to like how many miles I traveled for the booking,
Oh, geez.
how much
That's cool.
how much I got paid, how much I spent for travel, how much I made in merchandise, and it's like
That's smart.
if there's like any young wrestlers listening, it's the most helpful thing ever
Yeah.
because you get to like look back at it and go, oh, last couple times I was at this venue, I made like $400 in merchandise. I'm gonna bring a ton of merchandise, and then you go, oh, I did this show like 4 or 5 times and I made like $6-7, off a couple stickers. I might not want to bring a bunch of merchandise.
Yeah.
So it makes it so much easier when you're like judging like what to bring with you and stuff like that.
That's smart. I'm
For all
gonna
you
start
young,
doing that.
aspiring people that want to be wrestlers or are wrestlers, listen to that.
Oh, watch Grassa slip on this. I haven't done this one in a couple years. Yeet.
Oh, no.
No, Grassa, no.
I think honestly, I may have put my head down at that moment because I think I saw him slipping. Because I'm like, shit, is everyone okay? It wasn't me being mean or anything. It was like, I hope he's okay.
Oh yeah.
You guys talk about matches. I'm pretty sure this is either like match 5 or 6 for me. Like that's how green I fucking was.
Oh wow.
What
Yeah,
year-
for our team of the
what year
event,
was
weirdly
this?
enough.
2000. I'm pretty sure it's 2021.
I can tell you. Hold on.
Yeah, I remember this was like our first time back together, me and Grassa's first time back together, because like he went on a hiatus for a while where he was focusing more on like tattooing, and then he just kind of like stopped wrestling and
Tattoos? I didn't know that.
just like randomly came back and we're like, oh, we should do some stuff together, and then we did this match.
I tried booking Rasa for a full year up here, and it never worked out. And I was like, man, like,
Yeah.
come on.
If you want the date, this is October 9th, 2021.
Wow.
So 4 years ago now.
4 years already? Jesus.
Yeah, I know it flies, man.
October 2021. That would be the same month that you and I, Dylan, would have a one-on-one at Redacted Pro Wrestling.
That was a fun match, actually.
It was a fun match. That was the first time you ever gave me an exploder suplex.
Yeah, and I remember you going, I don't take it. You took it. You're like,
I
oh,
was
cool.
scared. I was also very big, and so I was like, I'm scared.
Oh, speaking of big boys, I've learned tonight I can't muscle Buster Storm. The boys,
Oh, no.
he's too beefy.
Oh.
I set him up for it. I went to pick him up, and I was like, nope. And I set him right back down on the top rope.
How was class today?
It was fun. It was Eric running it, so it was interesting.
Oh, okay. So it was interesting.
That's one of the things, man. Smiley, people look at you and they're like, oh, they see you and they're like, oh, you can't do any of this stuff. And we watch you and we're like, holy shit.
Yeah, I get that one a lot.
I'm gonna try and find the match that I was referring to, just in case I'm completely crazy and it never existed. But just in case for some reason it exists, it'd be great if I did find it.
Yeah, I get a lot of the you're really good for men your size.
Yeah.
Like, can't I just be a good wrestler?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Dude, I'm now I'm shoot 275.
Kick in the
right?
face
And everyone's like, and everyone doesn't like, I'm the same way. Sometimes I do like really crisp rolls. I'm actually kind of athletic for my size. And they're like, dude, you shouldn't be able to move like that. And I'm like, just do it.
Me and Nick are just standing there going like, oh, that's cool. Oh shit, that looked like it hurt.
literally. I was like, that was dope. If you could see me, like, you can't see where I'm standing, but every now and then I leaned over to Cat and went, oh shit, that was cool.
I think me and Grassa got a little too carried away with beating up the two youngins.
That's all right. You guys are having fun.
We out here trying to hit all our bread and butter, apparently.
Hey. Dude, here's the thing with these little shows like this, and I tell people this all the time. I'm like, what do you want to hit? Hit your stuff. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
So
I forgot I completely forgot what I even did in this match.
chop. Uh-oh. Puppy dogs.
So I was surprised you weren't hearing Trixie over here yelling at Fortnite. Grass, I know.
Oh, Slippy right there.
I was at the show. I just watched Grassa take on JT Dunn. That was a banger.
Yo. Those two got so much history behind them, too.
Is that done? Oh, I put my arm down for that. Ugh. Yeah, Centons. We don't do those anymore because everyone in Maine does those.
Yeah.
It's become a Maine state move.
Way to attack me, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I do a flashing elbow now. Change it up a little bit.
And that's how I come up with most of my ideas for some of my moves. It's like, what's everyone doing? And then let me find a way to violate that expectation.
Yeah. I think I know what happened with that move, too, with that Grassa just hit me with. I expected him to go down. And he went up. Or I expected him to go up. No, it was, I expected him to go up, then down, and he just went straight down, and I was like, I jumped for him. And I was like, I went the wrong direction.
Love his pump kicks.
Still pretty green here.
so I apologize in advance. The match that I'm thinking of that I thought involved you, Smiley, was actually with Gentleman Jervis.
Yep.
Wrestle this. That
match might have gotten me some heat, matter of fact.
Right. So when I saw the match, I was like, oh, this Smiley. And when I thought about it, I was like, holy shit. But no, now I can see where I kind of got it all mixed up here.
Oh my god, my tan line is so bad.
If that's the same match I'm thinking of, because I'm sure those guys wrestled a bunch because they were both in Chikara.
Mm-hmm.
There's a part in there where like Jervis kind of like grabs Orange and he rocks him to sleep.
That's how I remember it.
Okay, so it's the same match.
Yeah.
I've never seen the match. So like me and Mark Quinn were doing a show one night, and like I just told him like, God, me and him wrestled so many times. We would just kind of go out into the ring and just start messing with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So like at one point, I think I like grabbed him on my shoulders and I yelled out, "Go to sleep," and popped him up. And he's thinking I'm gonna give him the knee, and I popped him up, spun him, caught him, and I rocked him to sleep. And then I think we're even in like a rumble, a Royal Rumble or something. And I just walk over to the ropes and dumped him. And then
you were gonna dump him at that point.
I give him a little Iggy on that one. But like, it was one of them things where it's like we did that and we were doing a double shot. So we did that one in Jersey, and then we had to shoot up to do the Bronx, and we wrestled Caveman and Montekia in the Bronx. And I think I did the same thing to Caveman. Like I told him like, I'm gonna go to sleep, pop you up, catch you, rock you to sleep. Oh no, I did it to Monte. And then as we put him down, I go shh to Caveman, and I try and pin Monte silently. You know, just stupid little dumb shit. We were just having fun. And somebody posted it online. And I think I said the crazy go to sleep or something like that. Psycho go to sleep, something like that. And somebody tagged Jervis in it. And I didn't know Jervis actually like did the move. Like I'd never seen the match.
Right.
And apparently Jervis got upset at me for stealing his move. And I'm like, I didn't know you did it. Like you're like, I haven't seen your stuff. Like I didn't know.
Well, I'm glad I brought that up then. I'm glad there's some sort of reference to that.
Yeah, like I know in comedy they call it like parallel thinking.
Yeah.
When like two people think of the same idea, but they didn't hear it or see it, the other person do it. It's just their minds went the same direction.
That is the worst thing when you do a move on a show and it's like someone's finish and you like use it for like a transitional.
Yeah, I know.
Crap. Yeah, sorry, Cat.
we got in a lot of trouble one time because we did a multi-man scramble. This might have been before your guys' time, but do anybody remember NEFW?
I do not.
No. There was a promotion in Chicopee, Massachusetts, NEFW, and they brought us up like every single month, and we were always doing shows out there, and we were just having fun. And I think Sami Zayn had just gotten signed, so I'm like, shit, he ain't gonna be able to use the Brainbuster in WWE, so I'm gonna use it as my finisher now.
Oh.
So we're doing a match, and like I think I stuck my head through the ropes, and somebody came up with one of them like NZs on the apron, like the kicks, and caught me flush and just knocked me loopy.
Ooh,
Like one of them ones where I was like, I don't remember what happened after that.
yeah, that's a cool spot.
It's like I don't remember what was going on after that, but apparently I tried to go for the brainbuster on Mark Quinn, and when I went for it, instead of going straight down, I went this way. And I brainbusted him onto the top rope.
Oh no!
And people were making comments online like, "How dare you like use that as a transitional move and this and that?" And I went, "It's the last thing I did in the match. Like it was supposed to be my finisher."
Yeah,
you know, but like, and then like it wasn't like I let the guy kick out of it. Like somebody broke it up, but like they were so upset about it that we had to have JT Dunn actually like agent our matches for like a good few months after that.
No,
they stopped trusting us.
Oh no!
Wow.
I don't know if anyone saw it. Trixie just missed me in shotgun.
Oh yeah.
Your face was covered, so I think it was
Dude,
shotgun.
that stuff took
Covered.
like. I went to work the next day, and I scrubbed, and I was still swum up blue the next day. Everyone at work's like, "What happened?" I was like, "It's a long story."
Yeah, that's how usually I say when I have the cheese grater or the gusset plate marks on my forehead. I'm like, it's a long story.
Yeah,
It's a long story.
Let's not talk about that. Yeah.
Let's not talk about that.
Actually, after a couple years, I literally would just look and go wrestling, and they're like,
So I got a question for you. What? How did you come up with your idea for your gimmick? Like what was the inspiration for Smiley?
So it's a lot of comic books because I'm a giant nerd who loves his comic books. The genesis, I guess, of the whole situation. When I first started, when I first started training, I never even thought about wearing a mask. My thought was actually like, oh, I'm gonna be this paparazzi-like character because like I was a photographer at the time, so like I had the cameras and everything. I'm like, I'll be a photographer, so I'll stand around the ring until it's my turn to wrestle, and then I'll jump up and blind my opponent with my camera and I'll attack them with it. And I'm like, wanted to be this dastardly heel photographer character, not realizing like, it would have been so much fun, but it's like, but I'm like, until I get to that point where I'm comfortable with that, maybe I'll do a masked character for now until I'm comfortable. So I came up with this character I called Arrowside, which is about as generic of a masked wrestler character as you can get. Like the tassels and like the mask was like bright yellow and orange and red and like looked like fire. It had phoenixes on it. I'm every single year one general luchador. And I only did that one for like maybe 2 or 3 shows. But like in training, we were doing drills one day, and I think we were doing some sort of bump, and I hit the buckle, and I come out, and as I come out waiting for the bump from Red, because I was trained by Amazing Red, when I come out for the bump from him, he stops me, he looks at the rest of the class, and he goes, "It doesn't matter how hard I hit him, he won't stop smiling." So he started calling me Smiley. So, and this is kind of like another funny one. The opening video that you guys had there.
Mm-hmm.
I think his name, it said Samuel
Matthews.
Yeah.
His tights. The character on his tights, his name is Smiley.
Yep.
So that's from a comic book called Evil Ernie.
That makes
which
sense.
is one of my all-time favorite comic books.
No kidding.
And I took a lot of inspiration from the Evil Ernie comic books. So my original sets of gear actually had the Smiley on the sides too.
No shit.
Cool.
Yeah, they were purple tights. They had green slime looking effect, and then they had the Smileys on the side. And because I was a Joker fan too, I had kick pads that just said "ha ha ha ha" all over them.
Yeah.
And then of course the whole mask thing. So like the yellow mask was never meant to be worn in the ring. Like the yellow mask was just meant to be during the entrance. And I was going to take it off and then wrestle because, again, I'm still thinking I'm going to be like this dastardly heel character. So, like, I'm trying to be a bad guy, and it's not working. So, but yeah, I did the Arrowside thing for a few shows, and then I think it was Anthony Gango's like, you know, you should just run with this whole Smiley thing. Like, you can make a better character out of Smiley than you could out of Aeroside. So he kind of like encouraged me to run with the name Smiley compared to like some generic name that I made up, you know, because I was a big Aerostar fan. So like, all right, like, well, what is Smiley? Like, you know, what could he be? And then I started taking all these comic books I have, and I'm reading through those. Like, there's another one I don't know if you guys ever seen. It's called The Crossed, where it's about like these people get infected with this disease and they go nuts and they become psychopaths and stuff like that. And like, so I'm taking a little bit from there and a little bit of Joker, a little bit of Evil Ernie. Even today now, like I got my little leather jacket and everything. It's very reminiscent of like Evil Ernie always had his leather jacket. So like, it's a lot of like comic book inspiration. I just jumped everything up and I made me, you know. And then as far as wrestling inspirations, I took a lot from like the mask thing. I started doing that because Mil Mascaras. I'm a huge like traditional lucha fan. So like Mil would do like the gimmick where like person snapmares him, he goes for the mask, takes the mask off, there's another mask. He takes that one off, another mask, you know, and he does do stuff like that. So I started incorporating that into my stuff. So that's why every match I do the double mask. That's a little nod to that.
I get the comic book thing. My original nickname in wrestling was the Dweller of the Depths, which if anyone's an Aquaman fan knows that was Aquaman before the new, just before or after the new 52. It was when Arthur Joseph Curry was Aquaman, and he was like the dweller with the half octopus face, and that's where the octopus stuff came from. And so, yeah, I get it. Trust me.
Oh yeah, comic book's great inspiration.
Yeah, 100%.
So here's a good question for you. So obviously you established the Smiley character and everything. How was it working with Ricochet?
Oh God, I loved Ricochet. Like, he was so much fun to work with, and like I like to refer to like our first match because we wrestled twice. I like to refer to.
I have this up. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the first time we wrestled.
Awesome.
And that one was like a super cool moment because like I call it like my aha moment because like Ricochet came in and he's like, all right, so what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, this is the story I have in mind. And he kind of like took a step back, like, okay. And I didn't give him like a bunch of moves that I wanted to do. I just kind of gave him a story that I wanted to tell because like they had already been announcing Low Key versus Ricochet. So I'm like, listen, everyone knows you're going to win. So why don't you know you're going to win? Take me lightly. And every time you take me lightly, I get up on you. And it was kind of like that moment where it's like, oh, this is kind of what I'm supposed to be doing. Not like coming up with 1,000 different moves I should be doing.
Yeah.
Which I still kind of do anyways, but I'll put a little story behind them, you know, but I'll still kind of do a bunch of different stuff.
Well, it's like I know our trainers a lot of times will say like everyone can do 100 moves. You know, there are some guys out here that can do like Ricochet and like you can do like the flippy doos and stuff, but it's telling the story between that's important.
Yeah.
So
100%, and that seems like that's being lost a lot lately. Is there's no story? It's just, hey, these cool spots. Let's do these cool spots, and instead of building that story around the match to keep people entertained.
It's kind of becoming gift wrestling at this point, you know.
Yeah,
it's like people are kind of like, oh, what's the viral 3-second clip I can get out of this match?
Right, exactly.
You know? But like compared to like, you know.
What's a TikTok video I can make out of this?
Yep.
This is 2014 too, so like
that's a dope match.
Whole different era of time. Like
I think I was only a couple years in at that point.
Right, and you think of that time frame and the stars that there are then that are just getting signed. Like you were talking about, like obviously like Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Like those guys were getting signed at that time, and like you see this generation of the way that your style of wrestling is then versus like compared to it now, like how significantly different, better, and stuff like that. It's very like eye opening.
Oh yeah, it's fun to watch nowadays. Like you see like all these guys on TV and stuff. It's like I've wrestled him.
It's funny because like I look at it sometimes. I look at some of the people that are on Raw and SmackDown, and I go, "Oh, I trained with that guy," or like that guy trained me. This guy, I trained with him. Like stuff like that. It's wild.
Oh yeah.
I gotta watch this match in full. That looks pretty
that looks
dope.
fun.
I was pulling up random matches and I saw that one and I go, I remember this one.
Speaking of Ricochet,
I have one under it's on a private thing because I don't know if they want it out there, but one of my favorite matches I can send you guys. It's a 4-way dance at New Japan when they came to Manhattan.
Right.
And it's me, Montequilla, Speedball Mike Bailey, and Mascarada Dorado.
Oh, damn.
Ooh, damn.
It is one of my favorite matches ever. And like goosebumps kind of like there's a moment like I think right in the entrance where I go to take the steps into the ring and I stopped and I took a step back and I went, damn. like just looked around like, damn. I'm here right now. This is crazy.
It's like, am I here? Yeah.
And that was a dope moment. And it's funny because that happened and then it's like the next week. I think it was like the next week or like something like that. I was in Boston doing the AEW show.
No shit.
I was doing the extra work for AEW.
Yeah.
And that moment was bittersweet. First, I kind of didn't tell anybody I was coming because, like, I know most of the AEW roster.
Right.
Like, I've worked with most of them, like, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't tell Mark Quinn or Isaiah Cassidy I was coming up. And those, like, two of my best friends. I love those guys.
Right.
So, like, I show up. I go in. They're like, all right, put your stuff down here. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I kind of, like, start wandering around a little bit. And I walk through, like, the little tunnel gimmick, and I see, like, the ring. And I'm just kind of, like, standing, like, off to the side. Like, it's not, like, the main entrance. It's just, like, some random walkway.
Yeah.
I'm just standing there looking into the ring. And Isaiah just turned at the right time, and he looked. And he's getting a speech from William Regal. He just looks, and he sees me standing there and just kind of laughs to himself and shakes his head. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then I think Stokely Hathaway walked by me. I'm like, hey, have you seen Quinn? He goes, oh, I think he's in the stands or something. So I started walking in the direction he pointed me. Quinn comes around the corner, looks at me, like, jaw just drops, and he runs and gives me, like, the biggest hug. And is like, this is cool. Like, I'm here with my friends. And then, like, when they put up the board and they put the matches, it's me, Channing Thomas, and I forget his last name. I feel awful. I always do it. No, his first name was Kyle. And I know he's a personal trainer. I feel awful. I would forget his last name.
Like, I have it on
I'm blanking too.
Right? And then, but it's us three versus Private Party and Matt Hardy.
Oh, like,
Like, I get to go wrestle my best friends now at AEW in Boston, a few miles away from Maine, where I grew up.
right.
And so it's like, it's sweet, 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 sweet. And then the bitter part comes. And I start to remember what day it is. I'm like, oh, shit. Like, today is the 3-year anniversary of Matt Travis's death when Matt Travis passed away.
Yep.
It was like 3 years to the day from when he passed away.
Yep. I remember
And like
community about that.
And so I'm like, that one kind of took me back. And like right before we go out, I looked at Quinn. I go, you know what today is, right? He goes, what? I go, it's 3 years since Matty passed, and I'm here with you guys, and like one of the biggest opportunities ever. It's like this is Matty's doing, Somehow he had a hand in this,
All right. I did just find something that I have to ask about. I don't know if you guys went over it while I was not here. Rock Lobster?
Lobster. Oh, yeah.
I literally typed your name into Google and it popped up. And it's like, Smiley, also known as Rock Lobster. And I'm like, hold on, I gotta ask.
Please tell me that's being inspired.
You know what's funny is even the locker room was so upset with Chikara for not letting me be me. Like, I never understood why.
That should be the place.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, and it's crazy because like, I always wanted to go to Chikara. Like,
right.
I thought I would fit in perfectly. I loved the product, and it was like this would be perfect. And like, I went and did the tryout, and like they called me back and they're like, "All right, we want to bring you in." I'm like, "Hell yeah!" They're like, "We're gonna make you Rock Lobster." And I went, sure.
I'm sorry.
It's your company. I'll do whatever you want. Like,
yeah.
Not many people actually got to keep their names when they went to Chikara. Like, I understood that going into it.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the characters that came out of Chikara. Like, those weren't people doing it on their own with ideas.
Oh yeah. And so it's like all right, like I'll do whatever you want me to do. And then I started having like just ridiculous fun with it. Like because like in the beginning, I'm like, I don't know what to do because I've been me for so long. I don't know how to be somebody else.
Right.
So like the first couple matches, it kind of took me a little bit, but I think the one that kind of like, I think it kind of clicked into me is it was like me and Kimberly were wrestling, and she had the hair ties in her hair. I go, do you have multiples? She goes, yeah. I go, all right, cool. I'm gonna try and pinch you like with my claws. Put the rubber bands on my hands. She's like, what? I go, think of it. The lobsters at the supermarket have the rubber bands on the hands. So like I put it down. I go to snatch, grab the hand, rubber band. I go, try to get it with this one, rubber band this one, and I'm running around the ring going, take him off, take him off, take him off. And like after that point, it's like, oh, yeah, this is who this character is.
Yeah.
And then I just started doing like anything that sounded even close to rock or whatever. Like I would do like sit down F5s going, Brock Lobster. I was imitating the Rock, so I would do the people's elbow. But when I was doing the leg there, I'd just start choking somebody. Like, ah!
Oh my God.
that was the other fun part too, is like I show up as Smiley, and at this time, I've tried being heel. I'm terrible at it. But like I show up and I'm trying to be, I'm like, all right, well maybe they'll make me a babyface. No, they change my gimmick and then make me a heel. So I'm like, all right, now I really got to figure out what I'm doing because I'm a terrible heel. But with that character, it kind of worked out, and with that crowd, like, they just eat up whatever you give them, anyways.
So I just thought of the turkeys thing. So I worked on a lobster boat for the last number of years, and I've worked with lobsters. I know a few things about them. So they swim backwards. It'd have been funny as hell if you did the rock bottom, but did it backwards.
Oh man!
Just instead of like run backwards to the rope, bounce off, run over the guy, bounce off, then do like a backsplash instead of an elbow or something.
Oh, that would have been great.
I would have been like, what? Oh man! Oh god! I saw that and I was like, I gotta ask.
I was trying to see if I could find a match.
I found one that I was curious about. I'm sure this brings back a little bit of memories here.
Oh boy!
What can you tell me about this match?
We got our time cut down a lot because like
Really?
other people were going over on theirs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's a 6 minute, 50-second video. So I imagine that got cut short.
Oh yeah. So like we're trying to like figure things out, but like I love wrestling with I still call him Shenron, Zenshi now, I guess it is.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, it's Ariel Von Go now or something.
Yeah,
Can never keep track.
That was cool.
But love wrestling with him. But they came to us like right before this, and they're like, "Hey, you guys mind cutting it down to like 5 minutes?" I'm like, "Oh, sure." So,
do I mind? Yes. Will we do it? Sure, I guess.
there's I think it's probably coming up soon. There's a spot in here it's a little like a toss up when I post it. Some people think it's like the coolest thing ever, and other people are like, I don't understand what just happened. Where I tried to do almost like a reverse Spanish fly.
Oh.
So instead of doing the backflip to the rock bottom, I try and do the. It might have already passed because I think this might be the finish.
I went right in the middle of the match just because I was curious as to, is it off the? I'm assuming out of the corner.
I think he goes to do like the crossbody thing, and then I got stuck there too.
Oh no!
My foot was stuck under the middle, so.
Oh no!
I got stuck. He kicks me, and I'm like stuck. I'm like, I can't move.
I can't. Oh man!
That reminds me of a match I had. I was working Monty Aries and Lee Miller, and Monty I went to go over the top. Oh, I went to give him a big boot, and he moved, and I kind of went over the top rope. But as I went over, my other leg caught in the rope, and the rope twisted, and I was literally stuck upside down. And Monty, bless him, just looks at me, gives me a couple quick kicks, and pulls the rope, so I fall. I was like, "Oh, thank you."
Wow.
Because I was stuck. I was like, I couldn't move.
Shit.
That's what it is. I did that in training one time. Like I went to do like the spaceman dive, and for whatever, I guess I was wearing like my street shoes, and they didn't quite have the grip. So when I went to step off the middle to dive to the outside, my foot goes through the ropes.
Ooh.
And I just kept going, so like it wrapped my ankle up in the rope. Ooh. And everybody else thought it was funny. and like this one kid, like Freddie Love, comes up and he's like trying to help me out, and everybody else like, oh, that's great. I'm like, you guys mind helping me here? Like, this sucks.
That's great. I'm stuck, you assholes. Can you get me out of here?
I did that by
Freddie
accident.
Love, come and help you out.
I did that by accident in the match with Eric. Like I forgot what I did, but I like stepped through I fucking twisted in between like the middle and bottom rope and got myself caught.
Oh yeah.
He's just sitting there beating the shit out of me. I'm like, wait, I can't move.
Hold on, not playing. What's going on?
That's real to me, damn it.
Have you suffered any significant injuries at all in your career that were like either career threatening or just like complete accident, like completely unexpected?
There's nothing like crazy, thank God, knock on wood. Nothing like wildly severe. Ironically enough, mostly to my ankle. Like, I was wrestling, who's his name? Alexander James, I think his name was. But I used to do like the little corkscrew through the middle ropes. Actually, I think I did in our match there, where like I do like almost like the twisting.
Yeah.
Over here, I don't know. But when he caught me, he kind of gave me one of these, and when he popped me up, it's at MYWC, and they got like the thick guardrails.
Ooh.
And when he popped me, my body twisted that little extra bit, and my ankle wrapped around the guardrail. And like everything was black and blue. Luckily, like the finish was like right afterwards.
Right.
But like the finish was for me to do a 450 land on my feet. After that, and I'm like, oh, that sucks. But like,
call the fly like we ain't doing that.
Like we ain't doing that.
Yeah, right. I should have, but I would get dumb sometimes, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah.
And then there was another one where I did a moonsault off the top rope to the outside, and usually when I do it, I have multiple people catch me because I'm fat. So like, but the other kid that was supposed to catch me, when he did his dive, he messed up his ankle. So he wasn't there. So I'm like, oh, this one guy should be able to catch my big ass. Why not? So I do the moonsault, and when I land, because he kind of gives me one of these, he puts me down and puts all the weight on one side, and I twist my ankle. And I had a severe sprain of the ankle. But like the adrenaline was pumping so much that during the match I didn't even know.
That is the worst.
So like it's literally like sprain your ankle, two guys do something else. I think they did like a Tower Doom, and then I'm hitting like a front flip coast to coast with a sprained ankle. Yeah. And I'm hitting like the end of the match, I'm doing like poison ranas to this other guy, and I'm like, and then I get to the locker room, I'm like, this is great. I cannot feel my leg.
Why does it hurt?
Oh yeah. Like, it was to the point like I got home that night, which sucked because I had to drive. So I'm trying to drive with it too, because of course it's got to be the right ankle. So it's got to be the pedal ankle. So I'm trying to drive. Like I get home, I'm like, I'm just gonna sleep this one off. I'll be fine in the morning. I got up in the morning, went to stand up, and just collapsed. And like, I looked at Trixie, I'm like, I need to go to the hospital. Like, I never want to go to the hospital. I needed to. So like, her mom gave me her cane, and I had to use a cane just to get into the ER and everything.
Oh no!
And like that one was rough.
I can very much relate to plenty of times where like something felt like it was an injury, but I'd wake up the next day and be like, okay, totally fine. And it was nothing. And then the one time where I thought it was going to be nothing, it turned out to be something. And I ended up breaking my tailbone at the end of 2017. I woke up the next morning and I actually physically could not roll out of bed. And I was like, I think I need to go to the hospital. I was like, because I could not physically move. My body would not let me. And it was just because I literally got drop kicked into a steel chair that was like just in a sitting position. I had like somehow sat into the chair and had taken the rim of the seat and had literally shattered my tailbone. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You showed me that.
I showed you that, a complete accident, and this was 35 minutes into a elimination style tag match.
Oh,
And we're still went for another 15 minutes, and I was in the final 2. No one had been eliminated yet. This is 35 minutes into it, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be a long rest of the night. Absolutely painful. And yeah, no, and then I was out for almost 5.5, 6 months because of it.
oof.
So I can understand that. It's not a good time.
Actually, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think I've worked through most of my injuries. The only one that took me out for a little bit was that sprain. And that one sucked because, like, I was supposed to team with Grassa for RWA at one point. Like, literally, like, they named the show, I think it was, like, Fit to Be Tied or something like that, like, in preparation of us actually coming to the show. And, like, I had to hit him up. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but, like, I can't even stand on my own foot right now. Like, I can't.
My leg don't work.
Yeah. Like,
Well, it don't work.
the other one that sucked was a sprained groin muscle.
Oh,
It was training with Jay Lethal. I went to do a crossbody. He ducked.
Oh.
And when I hit, I pulled the groin muscle.
oh.
So, like, I'm trying to, like that one, like, you just be walking down the street and your foot twists the right way. It's like, ha, ha, ha. Like, oh, yeah.
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So-
I had to get the terrible part with the spinal with the tailbone was you can't put a cast around your tailbone.
Yeah.
So I had to be given a therapy pillow, and I worked at a sit-down job at this point. So I was sitting for 8 to 10 hours a day. I had this therapy pillow. Let me tell you, that therapy pillow did nothing. And I was in the most pain that I ever could be. And every time I got up out of that chair, even to this day, I get up out of this chair and I'll feel pain in my tailbone just because that pain stays with me. It's just not as excruciating as to when it was broken. But oh god, no, you're bringing it up. This is it.
This spot right here?
Yep, this is right here, this spot, and I have broken my tailbone.
Oh.
Right there, this spot. It looked subtle. It doesn't look like anything really had happened, but the chair literally had broken over my tailbone, and I had shattered it completely. And I still continued on to this point. And at one point, I get rolled out onto the floor. I hit the floor like a sack of potatoes because I just cannot feel anything at this point. And all I hear at this point was just take this. And I'm in so much incredible amount of pain, and I don't know what's going on or what to do because I was in so much pain. And I just
Oh, God.
it was not a good time.
So,
This was December of 2017, and I was out until like April, May of 2018 the next year. It just from that, and I'm like, if I would have tried to fight through that injury, I probably would have suffered something a lot worse that I probably would have never came back.
Oh,
to,
yeah.
to be honest.
that kind of brings up the one of our questions that we like to ask our people that we guests coming on the show. What is the worst bump you've ever taken and the worst bump you've ever seen?
Woof. I mean, there's been so many. Oh,
600 matches. Yeah, I can see that.
I haven't really taking them. I haven't really taken too many that were like that sucked. Because like in most cases, like I'm pretty good at like controlling my own situation. So like I don't have to rely on somebody else to put me down. Like I know how to contort myself, I guess, to like I'm gonna bump the way I want to bump. You know what I mean? So like I haven't had too many. Like there's been a couple where I'll do like a dive to the outside and the people outside decide that they want to part like the Red Sea all of a sudden and just ass to grass kind of situation.
Oh.
Those are never fun.
That'd probably be me if I did that. Everyone would be like, fuck, I'm not catching.
I've done
that.
2 dives off of the apron in my life, and I will never do it again because both times I've like almost borderline fucked my shit up, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta stop doing it.
Oh.
As a 6'2", like 340-pound person, is like, no, this is not right now. I need to stop.
I've seen actually maybe this might be the worst one I saw. We were doing a battle royal in, I think it was Massachusetts, and the outside of the ring had like this blue canvas on it. So apparently Mark Quinn thought it was like padding.
Oh no.
So he does a spot where he jumps up on the top rope, and a guy comes behind him and pushes him off of the top rope so he could jump to the outside and eliminate himself. He jumped, and I guess he decided he wanted to flip, thinking it's mats, and he hit, and you just hear
Oh,
oh, like I remember turning around looking, and I just see ah.
Oh no!
Oh
my gosh!
How did he survive that?
He was limping. That of course we always go to the diner after. He's sitting there going, like limping like a 90-year-old man. And I'm like, oh god.
Oh my god!
And actually, if I remember correctly, because I do get dropped on my head a lot. If I remember correctly, that same match we had another kid. His name's Nicky Heat. I love Nicky to death. Nicky, his left hand doesn't work, and his tongue doesn't function, so he can't speak. So his left hand is gimped, and he can't speak. So kind of like cerebral palsy, but not really, I guess, because I think that affects the other side. But we're doing the match, and somehow somebody goes to eliminate him, and his bad hand gets wrapped up in the rope with his foot, so he's hanging upside down. And somebody's like beat me up in the corner. I'm trying to get away from him so I can go help him. And you can just see him stuck there. He's like, like he's moaning because he can't talk.
Oh no!
And I'm sitting there going, oh no, oh Nicky,
not
no!
Laughing at the situation. It's just,
oh no!
And then, God, I gotta find this battle royal because it's so eventful.
I want to find it too.
Oh my god! And then that same rumble. Me and Nicky were fighting or whatever, and he throws me over the top rope. So I reach over and I grab him like I'm gonna give him like a suplex to the outside, and I pick him up with the intention I'm gonna put him down. I pick him up, and somehow we maneuver to the point where I brainbuster him onto the apron, and he falls out. And I went, "I'm sorry,
sir."
And like as I stand up, I'm like, "Oh, I guess I'll go back in the ring." He no-sells it, jumps up, grabs me, and yanks me off the apron. So I land, I look at him, and we just start to walk, like hitting each other all the way to the back. Not a at all story involved in this, like nothing. It's just we just start grabbing each other, just started hitting each other for no reason. He knows all the brainbuster on the apron and everything.
In relation to that, there's one thing I remember. This was like a couple years ago. I was doing a battle royal. Big Cat and Dylan Nix will know this is for Larry Huntley when he does the scouting and fair.
Oh yeah.
Every year the first night they always end up doing like a battle royal, and one year I was supposed to be in the final two. So at one point there had only been like 2 or 3 eliminations, and I get tossed over out onto the apron, and somehow I'd lost my footing, and I had fallen completely off the apron, but my feet were like on the apron, but the rest of my body, because it was a low boy, was just hanging out on the grass. But it was so dark because the sun had already cast it away because we're outside, and there was no like spotlight like out in the ring. We were just like, hey, we got to finish this up before it gets completely pitch black dark out here. No one really noticed that I had been eliminated, and so like I have a referee telling me, hey, you're eliminated, and I see no reaction from the crowd. So I'm just like, no, I'm not. And I roll myself back into the ring because nobody had seen me get eliminated because it was so dark out. And I had completely botched and just slipped off the apron because it was like wet. I don't know what was wet, either the ropes or what, but like I had been hanging off of it from my feet and was just like, nah, this still counts, and rolled myself back in.
That reminds me of Lee Miller in Vacation Land, where we did that. There was the Battle Royal, and he went to eliminated me, and accidentally eliminated himself. The refs weren't paying attention.
Oh.
He just looks around and goes, okay, and then slides himself back in and like, I'm just going to continue like nothing ever happened.
If the ref doesn't notice it, why would you not climb back into the ring? Yeah. It's just, why wouldn't you?
The fans are like, he's been eliminated. He's been eliminated. He's like, no, I wasn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
We did one time, and somebody throws me over the top and they hit me, so I would fall. I kind of fell on my butt, and then they kicked me so I could and I wrapped my legs around the bottom rope, so I'm hanging upside down, being all dramatic, like, oh no, I'm falling. As I'm hanging upside down, all I can see is Mark Quinn upside down himself, slowly going like this, close to me. I'm like, what are you doing here? And he starts to slip, and I grab him, and somebody got this picture. I gotta find it on my phone or something. It's me and Mark Quinn holding each other, hanging upside down from the bottom rope.
That's
like trying not to eliminate each other. And we're just literally like holding each other, like hugging onto each other. Now, have you guys ever done a shoot battle royal? Where like, because I've done this on a couple of fair shows, where the promoter will literally go, listen, I got $300. It's a shoot. Whoever wins it, wins it. And then they let a bunch of wrestlers in the ring to shoot, try and win $300.
Alexander Lee would kill us all.
I would convince somebody to do that.
It's the
Alexander Lee
funnest
would
thing
kill us
ever.
all.
And like
Alexander Lee would like literally beat the piss out of everyone.
I was gonna say there'll be so many fucking potatoes thrown in
There'd
that
be
fucking
so
match.
many potatoes.
if you get the wrong crew, yes.
Finally, about
Like,
the potato incident from MEW, please.
Oh, talk about that. You want the where?
Yeah.
Lee-
So how did it start?
Lee Miller in his match got hurt from Jason Maverick. He did a spot where he fucked up his back, and he's out. I think he's out like second in this fucking Rumble, and he's just taking bumps and shit like that. He's trying everything he can not to hurt his back, but people keep on like hitting. Of course, he doesn't tell anybody like don't hit me in the fucking back. So everybody's just fucking like doing clubs and shit to him. Eventually, he just gets pissed.
He got pissed
And just starts throwing potatoes everywhere. And
I had been sitting in the crowd the entire night because I was a fill-in spot where I jumped in from the crowd and jumped into the Royal Rumble. So I didn't know what was going on in the locker room or what had happened between the matches or anything. I was just playing my character while being out in the crowd with everyone else. I had no idea what was going on. I go in there. And once I started throwing some offense in, next thing I know, I see Dylan Nix. He's like got a little blood on him. And then I see Big Cat and somebody else is bloodied. And I go, where is everybody getting bloodied? I walk over to Lee Miller. I go to hit him. All of a sudden, right in the face. And I go, oh, now I'm bleeding. What? And I'm the one that's bleeding the most. And I go, what is happening? And all you see is Lee Miller just fighting for his life, like trying to do everything that he can to not get hit in the back because he had already been hurt.
So we do have normal questions we actually ask for interviews if Levi Spade was here. But one of the ones there's two questions he asked that I like. One is, what is the worst bump you've ever seen?
We were asked that one.
We already asked that.
Already asked that one? I missed that one?
Yeah,
Dang it.
we missed it.
Do we ask favorite title belt yet?
No, we have not asked favorite title belt.
Favorite title belt.
like in all of wrestling, or that I've held?
Everywhere.
All wrestling.
Everywhere. Yeah.
All time.
All time. Could be in the indies, could be on the main main shows, anything like that.
All time.
Please excuse me for one moment.
You're not excused. You can't leave. Get your fucking ass back here.
I mean, the first ones that come to mind, ECW, the heavyweight title. I've always loved that belt because, like, I was a huge ECW mark. Like, I used to have to sneak over to my grandmother's house because she lived next door to us. I used to have to sneak over to watch it because my mom wouldn't let me watch it at home. But, like, I always loved that belt. I think I have a replica one somewhere in my storage unit, too. It's signed by it's signed by, like, Matt Stryker and Edge.
Weird.
And I think Rhino. It's, like, so weirdly signed. But
I have I do have a replica. It's actually in my back room. When I lived in my old place, I had like 8 title belts just hanging on the wall. It looked really cool.
yeah. Yeah, that one. I love that one. That and like I love the IWGP title. Like the original one though. Like
okay.
The remake one's cool, but it's like that's not what I grew up on, you know?
So my problem with the IWGP title, I love version 4, the one that Okada and Omega and everyone held. I love that belt. The version 5 looks like something All Might would wear.
This one?
Yeah. I hate that belt.
That one just reminds me of Cody Rhodes' tattoo.
A little, yeah, I can see that too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever hear the story about Cody talking about that tattoo?
Yeah, we that was
Yeah.
one of the things that I was gonna play, but it was at that time it was midnight. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, we got to get this shit going. Like,
Yeah, and I think we're all like, let's go.
we're all tired.
I actually kind of embarrassed myself to Cody Rhodes once.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, story time.
it was kind of like, I guess, like a mind lapse kind of situation, because like he came to Hog and he was doing some stuff with Hog for a little while.
Yep.
And like at one point I told him, I'm like, oh, like, you know, growing up, like, because he mentioned something on the podcast, like he loves hearing stories about, you know, people's relationships to Dusty. So I was telling him, I'm like, for, you know, to this day, like, I can't watch tag team wrestling without thinking somebody's going to turn on somebody else. I go, because I remember watching when I was younger, it was Dustin Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes versus Ric Flair, and I can't remember who the other person was. It might have been like Tully or something. And I just remember Dustin finally gets the hot tag, and I said, and Dusty comes in, he like makes it look like he's gonna have a house fire, and he punches Dustin. And Cody's like, I don't think that's right. I went, yeah, I remember, like, clear as day. He goes, that wasn't Dustin. That wasn't Dusty. Like, that was, and I went, are you sure? And I'm debating with this man that it was his dad that doing this. I'm literally like, I swear to God it was him. I went back and found the clip. It was Arn Anderson and Dustin Rhodes. Arn Anderson comes in, and I love it because he comes in, he goes.
Totally easy misconception.
Oh, yeah. So,
how would you know anything about your dad, man? Come on. Like,
right?
Yeah.
I know more than you do. And I remember like I walked away and I went, it must have been Dusty. And I found the clip, like, literally, like, I was on my phone, like, after that, and I went, oh, God, I'm so embarrassed. Like, oh, God.
Actually, it feels like me when I was trying to bring up the Jarvis thing with. I was like, oh man, I feel bad that it's not the right person.
Oh God, everybody always did that with me and Jarvis, which I always just thought was funny because Jarvis hated me.
Ah, it's terrible.
He's supposed to be the nicest human being alive. Is his whole gimmick, and he hated me.
Yeah. That does bring up a fun question. Speaking of like big names, is there anyone you've ever met like as a big name and you were just like starstruck and you couldn't like talk to them?
Muda, maybe.
Oh my God, I would.
Wow.
Yeah, I was definitely in awe of Muda when I first met him. Minoru Suzuki was another one. That one was mad cool because like we were doing the New Japan show, so it's like me and Montekiyo standing side by side. We're just kind of hanging out, like you're not trying to be in the way or anything. Like, so we're just standing there hanging out, and Minoru walks by and he looks at me and Monte and he goes, He looks up and down, shakes his head in approval, and starts to walk away. And Monte goes, should we go ask him for a photo? Would you fucking ready to go ask him for a photo? So we chase him down and we go, maybe photo? He goes, later. Match now. Okay. So he goes, calls his match or whatever. And me and Monte are just sitting there like chilling again. And he comes over and he goes, photo now. We're like, oh, okay, cool. So we're ready to pose right there. He goes, no. Banner. I'm like, what? And he walks us in front of like the New Japan banner. And he poses with us there. Yo, that photo, I got the cheesiest girl. Like, the other two are like trying to look like badasses. I'm like, yeah.
No,
Like,
no, I don't know.
That's awesome.
I'd have marked out for that, man. Definitely.
As Bob Evans always says, take the damn picture.
Yeah, man. Like, I'm trying to do it more with like everybody. Like, because there's, it's like Matt Travis, man. Like, I love Matt Travis to death. I have no photos with him. Like, maybe a group photo here or there, but we don't have any photos. We don't have any clips together. Like,
so many people post photos of him with them, and I was just like, man, I wish I met.
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm bothering them. Like when because we had like Mr. Anderson, and I was like, oh, I really want a fucking picture with him. I'm like, I don't want to fucking bother him and shit like that. Like when big wrestlers come in, we're gonna have Matt Cardona is coming.
Yeah, we got Matt Cardona.
It's Sunday, and it's just like, I don't want to be I don't want to be a bother and be like, hey,
that's
can you do this for me? Like,
like,
Oh my god! I just saw something. I have the white IC title in the back room.
Hey.
I think I'm gonna have
Bring
to sign it.
yes, you
yeah,
should.
there you go.
Yes, you should.
It's funny too though, because like I was
It's not a
like
great
that same way where like I didn't want to bother anybody and stuff like that. But like I kind of started to learn like after a while, like I'm just gonna get the photo, and then like I started realizing like they kind of appreciate it because like that's what they're here for, you know. Like it's nice, it's cool to know that like we're making an impact on the fans, but to know like we're making an impact on the boys too. It's like, oh, like these guys are here for us in kind of situations. They were talking about how you poison misted them. She was looking over like she's snooping on me.
So my first, I want to say my first or second Limitless show. I can't remember which one it was, but Tommy Dreamer was there.
Yep.
And all the other boys were, I could easily like all the like, I don't want to say local guys, but more the the Limitless guys. I easily could walk up and like, hi, I'm Andy. How you doing? Just my shoot name, by the way, whatever. And easily walk up, say hi to everyone. I had no problem with that. Tommy Dreamer walks in and sits down, and it's Tommy freaking Dreamer. I grew up watching him on ECW. This is the innovator of violence, I'm sitting there like my eyes are this big. Alexander Lee walks over me and nudges me. He's like, go say fucking hi. And I was like, I can't. I was so nervous. Finally, I walked over. I was like, hi, Tommy. Pleased to meet you. He's like, hey, man, how you doing? I was like,
that was me.
I will never wash his hand ever again.
That was me with Nick Gage. First time I ever met Nick Gage. And I was just like, and it was funny enough is I was competing on a show when I had first met him in person. So like I had been wrestling and he had been watching, but I didn't know that he was watching. So then after the match was over and I see him and he's just hanging out there, I'm just like away from him at an angle, and I was just like, oh, should I go say hi to him or talk to him or something? And I got all the other boys being like, yeah, you got to go talk to him, because like that's just the only dude I ever talked about like throughout the beginning of my career. And then I didn't realize he had been watching my match. I just walked up to him. I was like, hey, Nick, my shoot name's Nick. So I'm like, haha, like, and I was just like such a buffoon about it. I was just like a belligerent idiot. And he just looks at me and he's just like, that was a good fucking match. I was like, okay, full like 1,000% horsepower going into that conversation. So
funny the Gage story. So I went to New Jersey with MSP and Drifter and Maverick, and we walk into the venue, and MSP's on, I think, third or fourth, something like that. And I don't remember if I worked that show. Anyway, so we walk in, and we all look to the left, and all of a sudden, sitting at the table, just chilling out. There's Nick Gage.
Always chilling.
Nope. Yeah, he loves just showing up to show.
Ah! So
I love Nick Gage. Like he's one of the guys. Like the first time I met him, I'm like, he just got out of jail too.
Yeah.
Like it was like his first show out of jail and everything. And I'm like walking up to him like, hey man, like how you doing? Like my name is so and so, and like he's like, hey, how you doing? And like nicest guy ever. I'm like, all right, cool. And now it's like I've seen him so many times. He's like, Smiles, what's going on, man?
I'm like, yeah, that first show that I ever met him, and he was just like full at 1,000. That same night, we had ended up sitting in the parking lot for like 2.5, almost 3 hours, just talking shit. This was before he did Dark Side of the Ring, so he had literally talked about like just all his whole life in general, the same way that it had been done on Dark Side. So when I watched the Dark Side like episode, I was like, holy shit, I actually had lived this entire story like 3 years before it actually happened. I'm like, that's wild.
So actually, that does bring up the fun question: is there one person, like, if you met now, you'd like, you've been doing this for a hot minute, like any of the name you'd walk up to and you wouldn't be able to talk to him at this point?
Ooh,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anybody like. There's anyone I wouldn't be able to talk to, because I'm usually pretty sociable, and like I kind of enjoy, like I enjoy those interactions. Like I might be awkward towards them because like I don't know what to say or do. Like that's for sure, because like I definitely can be a very awkward individual, especially the first time I meet somebody. And like you got like I got a weird sense of humor and stuff like that, so I'm like always nervous. Like I'm gonna weird this guy out because I'm a weird fucking dude. But like,
do you feel more nervous talking to somebody that you were just meeting versus talking to somebody that you actually, that's a big name that you actually have competed in the ring with, like with them already having the notoriety that or notability that they have all at that point? Was it easier to talk to them competing with them, or was it easier, harder to talk to somebody that you're just meeting, like at a show, like in general?
I don't know. I think it's kind of, I feel like maybe they're both kind of like equal, I guess.
Mm.
Like, because like it's one of the things. Like I always keep that mentality. Like they're a human being too. They've just seen cooler stuff than I have.
Right.
You know, like it's like that's kind of my mentality. It's like Tommy Dreamer like was one of my all-time favorites for like I grew up being a huge Tommy Dreamer fan. So like, you know, I originally met him like doing, like I said, like the show that the FWE show that I went to. And like I guess like I was a little nervous then, but it wasn't like hard to talk. But he kind of broke the ice on that one too, because like when I met him that first time, like I was standing there, like literally just standing, chilling, waiting, and he had like other people with him, like he's talking to like some other people that he knew or whatever. And then Original Gata was sitting next to him, and like I knew her from like kind of like the more like indie wrestling, the indie movie scene, because she's like more of a like an indie star, like on some of the like Trauma films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, but like he kind of like stopped talking to who he's talking to. He looks at me, he goes, "I know you from somewhere," and I'm like, "Me?
You do?
Me?
Like, yeah, I know you from somewhere." And I'm like, "Well," I'm like, "A couple of years ago, you gave me a T-shirt at a wrestling at a WWE event in like Portland, Maine." He goes, "I remember that. Why do I remember that? You had a sign." And I went, "Yeah, it was like a random house show and I brought signs." And he's like, "I remember that." He goes, "I forget everything." He goes, "So it's amazing that I remember that." So like that kind of broke the ice, and I just kind of like chit chatted with him for a while. And then like I went along my way and I signed up for the school, like literally that same Tuesday. And I think it was like 6 months later, maybe, I'm doing like a show, and they brought in Tommy because somebody called out. Somebody bailed on the show, and Tommy shows up. And like he's coming through, he's saying his hi, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Oh, look at you! You became a wrestler. Good for you." And I'm like, "You still remember me?"
Oh God, Lee Miller's got horrible ideas up here. Hold on.
Smiley, fans bring the weapon. Okay, now hang on a minute.
So we know JP's up for it, but I mean,
I love working with smaller dudes just because like there's so much opportunity to do so many things with a as a significantly bigger person versus a smaller person. There's so many different things that I can do with somebody that's such a smaller person versus I can make somebody look just as good no matter what their size is. So like, and especially when you bring in like the hardcore aspect of it, it just becomes so much fun all around, like the whole time.
All right. It's funny too because like I said, I haven't had a lot of like the deathmatch experience. Like I said, I did the one with even the Necro Butcher one. That was really all we used was chairs in that one.
Right.
The worst one I did was the Madman Pondo one, and that one we didn't really like. I didn't know like I wanted them to take lead because I'd never done it before.
Right.
So like I remember like sitting there at one point, and like Aiden Rain's like one of my best friends. Like I'm the godfather to his son and everything else. So it's like we know each other, we're comfortable with each other. So we're calling like all these different ideas, like, "Oh yeah, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that?" And then like Pondo just looks at us and goes, "Hey boys, all sounds great. They ain't gonna give a damn about any of it." We're like, "Huh?" He goes, "They don't want to see you doing spots. They're gonna see wrestling all night. They just want to see you go out there and beat each other up with stuff." I'm like, right. Fair enough, let's do it.
Okay.
But like I had so many fun ideas for like hardcore wrestling and stuff like that. Like I did one actually, I put up a clip, you might get a kick out of it, where like Tyler Arrow, I think his name was. He's a wrestler from Canada. And like I kind of like back rolled him to the point where like his feet were in the bottom rope. And I put his arms around the top rope. So he's kind of like dangling there. And I set a chair up in front of him. He just kind of looks at me like, "The hell's about to happen?" And I ran and I hit the ropes and I grabbed the rope, and as I like did the rebound, I held the ropes and pulled it. And you just see this human beings get slingshotted from the rope and just go whop, right to the chair.
Oh no!
So like I love innovating wrestling like moves and stuff, but when you get to throw toys in there and stuff, I'm like, ooh, what did I do?
Let's book it. He literally just described us playing the scene. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's.
I'm trying to find it.
Sorry, I was just yelling at my cat. She was. We look over and I have a shelf over here with Legos on it, and she normally doesn't get up there. And all of a sudden, I look over and she's just walking across it. And I'm just like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Ballsy cat.
Yeah,
my cat's.
But yes, Lee Miller is correct. That whole thing sounded like us calling the street fight in Fairfield.
We had a very interesting 6-man
Yeah.
street.
We're like, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, and JP just looks at us like, we're just hitting each other with shit. And I'm like,
we're just gonna hit each other with shit.
Yeah, it works.
Do a couple spots in the ring, and that's it. And it turned into way more than that.
It turned into 24. It turned into 24 minutes of way more than that.
Way more than it should have been.
I can hear Alexander Lee in commentary, almost having a stroke because he's trying to call it all.
And he was about 6 beers deep, and by the time we got to the main event, it was just absolute blubbering buffoon, like out of that whole match.
Oh, him and Daco Zone were just, oh my god,
it was insane. Big Cat's looking really hard for something.
I was trying to find that video that he was just talking about.
But no, it's crazy. So I don't know. No, the only thing I've ever done hardcore personally is, I mean, the street fight. I guess that's kind of hardcore. But my first time ever really doing anything in the ring, I wasn't even fully trained at this point. I was a manager for Alexander Lee at a show. And it was a Lego death match with horror. And
oh god, I remember that show.
So at the end of the show, at the end of the match, Alexander Lee wins. I am celebrating on the ropes with him, like yay! And Lee rolls out. I don't notice horror behind me. He grabs me, pulls me off the second rope, grabs me, choke slams me onto Legos. First thing I've ever done in a ring in front of a crowd is get choke slammed onto Legos. Worst part is I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna let the faces have their moment, so I roll out. As I roll out, Cousin Larry grabs me, throws me back in, and goes, "Take another one." I get choke slammed again, and he's like, "Sit there and sell." And I was like, "I'm not selling it. This actually really hurts."
That's a good first time, to be honest.
Yeah.
I would have been jealous if that was at my point. It'd be a first time. Like,
oh my god!
2 years before I started doing the death match.
Oh, I
know my first death match is literally at IWA Mid South, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Why am I doing these things? Why is there glass everywhere all over the mat? Why am I doing this?
I love when the rookies, like, so we were training tonight, and the kids, ask questions like, "Oh, what was your first thing?" Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Yeah, Legos." And everyone's like, "That was your first thing?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, people ask me. It's light tubes plugged into light fixtures while wrestling for Ian Rotten. I was like, "Yeah, good time."
Lord. So.
I remember the first time I was ever in like a wrestling ring situation. Actually, now that I think about it, it was the second time, but it's a better story. So we did. There was 2 big cats for a second there. That was
my shit just crashed.
I thought it was that.
Sorry about that. My shit just crashed. It's just.
You got multiple personalities too? What's going on?
I was like, did the Matrix just break for a moment? Cat, you lost all the clips at the bottom too.
I know it's fine. Well, I'll get it when I get it.
When it's time.
But continue your story. Sorry about that.
So,
yeah.
I ADD.
Yeah.
So like the first thing we ever did, I remember like Hog was doing like a little student show thing. I show up and Red looks at me, goes, "Are you in this?" And I went, "I wasn't planning on it. I just came to help with setup and breakdown." He goes, "Oh, well, get ready. You're in the battle royal." I said, "Oh, okay." So like, Mark Quinn is a very tiny man compared to me. Yeah. Somehow, like, I didn't have anything to wear. He throws me a pair of swim trunks, and I put those on, and I'm gonna wrestle in Mark Quinn's swim trunks.
Oh, okay.
But before the battle royal happens, Pinky Sanchez and Danny DeMonto go out and they do like a little pull apart gimmick.
Danny's my boy.
So like, we do the spot. It's like, all right, baby faces grab Pinky, heels grab Danny. Like, all right, cool. So we go out there and we do the pull apart, and I grab Pinky and I start pulling Pinky back, and somebody tripped. And the whole pile of us fall into the turnbuckle. Oh, and I remember, like, I'm down, and all I can hear is Pinky going, "Get up, get up, get up. Let me up, let me up, let me up, let me up." And I'm like, why is he freaking out so much? And I look up, and I can see this look in Danny DeMonto's eyes that I have not seen from another human being before, of like this pure joy that he's about to experience. And he like, with like Andre the Giant style, just moves everybody and sprints as fast as he can. And this is Big Danny before he lost all the weight.
What,
So it's like 400-pound Danny.
Chubby Danny, yeah.
Oh, and then all I see is him jump and flip through the air into like a pile of human bodies. And all I can do is Pinky under us laughing.
Oh no!
And I'm like, dear God. And then all of a sudden that happens. They powder out and then leave the rest of us to do a battle royal. Like, all right, and now everyone's gonna do a battle royal. And we're like, what?
Okay.
It's like,
Come on, guys.
and now this
And
thing.
just been murdered by Danny DeMonto at peak chubby status. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he is discovered. He found
found it.
soul. Oh man.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's a slingshot.
We're gonna,
Yeah, the slingshot.
oh,
I don't know why this is so tiny, but I
So
apologize.
tiny.
But
old videos, you know.
It's we.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Oh, oh, I know.
This is the culprit, by the way, for the Lego shelf.
oh well, we've had you for quite a while. You probably got some things to do, and we got a show to finish. It's almost been 2 hours. So why don't you
Still have a whole show to do. Still.
yeah, we
Damn
still
it.
got a whole show to do. We
Damn
haven't done yet. This always happens with a guest when we are enjoying our shit.
We just have fun.
We're
Yeah.
just having fun shooting the shit. Plug your shit. Plug your dates and where we can find you.
Sure. Coming up, I got Pro Wrestling Magic on the 18th in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. Entering the Chad Memorial Battle Royal, which is one of the only few things I haven't done in Pro Wrestling Magic. I like to say I'm the only Grand Slam champion because I'm the only person in the company that's ever won 4 titles: heavyweight, tag team, trios, and dark arts. Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
Was that
Can you hear Tricky in the background?
That was great.
Right.
Cheering you on.
Then the 25th, I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania for Three Legacies Wrestling, which is Ricardo Rodriguez's promotion. That's going to be a super fun one. Those shows are crazy. Ricardo puts on a hell of a show. February 1st, back in Ridgefield Park, but it's for NAW, which is usually a Massachusetts show. Richard Blake, I think, runs those ones. I think that's.
I haven't heard of that one, but
No idea.
Yeah, usually they run out of Massachusetts. I did one of their shows a little while back. Got a story I can tell you about that one later. But yeah, that I'm doing a 3-on-3. It's me and Elijah Eden, which is one of my tag team partners from a little group I have called Project Mayhem, and we're facing the Rapture. So that's gonna that should be chaotic. Which
who's the Rapture?
The members have changed a little bit.
All right.
Last I knew it was crap. I can't remember his name now. I think it's Adonis something.
Okay, I
from
was thinking
CEW.
because there's a group Cat, Levi, and I faced, and they're biblical gospel guys. What are they called? Cat. And it was Dan DeMann, Brother Greatness, and
I know who you're talking about.
Mission.
I just
Mission.
saw,
That's it.
I had a guy to look up. I gotta get up and look at it.
I just saw the video that Levi posted of Brother Greatness just getting kicked by Cruel, and I was like, oh no. It's absolutely terrifying.
Sorry. I had doubts. Continue, man.
I love greatness.
And
Those are the next few ones I got off the top of my head. Mainstays at pretty much Three Legacies and Pro Wrestling Magic. So I'm at all their shows.
so we're talking about trying to get you up to Maine. Since you're from Portland, you should try to come to a Gino show.
Oh, that
Gino's?
Yeah,
Gino's
Gino's Rock
love
Club.
you at Gino's.
Woo,
Oh my gosh.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
Runs it.
Imagine 200 drunk hipsters jammed into a tiny rock club, screaming their brains out.
No filters, no anything you can do. Like the best.
This guy was grabbing dicks last show.
Okay. Backstory. So I developed some sort of gimmick just at Gino shows, where at one point I was wrestling in a tag team match, and I had heard somebody in the crowd, it was just one person, do the whole grab his dick and twist it thing from like UFC or whatever it was, that viral video. So me and my tag team partner at the time, he looked at me and he goes, "Yo, grab his dick," and this is to Lee Miller, one of our boys, and so I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, grab his dick," and we both grabbed his dick at the same time. We sent him off the ropes and did a double team move, and they popped. That's all we did of it. So then the next show, I come in and I start hearing little rumbles from the crowd of them just chanting, "Twist his dick, twist his dick," and I was like, okay, there's something here for this. Like maybe this can build onto it. So I tease it, and it never happens that show. So they get pissed. Now, the next show, all of a sudden, I'm building the entire match and story around it. So like, I got the shine going in. So at the end of the shine, I'm like, I put up the hand. They already knew the hand gesture because I've been doing hand gestures through my entrance and all night throughout the night. And I would tease it, get cut off, get hit with the heat, all the stuff, all the wrestling and everything, and eventually get to the end of the match, eventually get the dick twist. The moment I first ever did it, where it was built up to the crowd, I have never had such a reaction from a crowd ever in my career, but it was ear deafening. Just like grabbing a man's balls and just looking at the crowd and just doing it like dick twist, just doing 1, 2, and then 3. They would do a hip toss out of the dick twist, and then I would proceed to give them a pile driver. And I have done that for every single show all through the entirety of 2024. This is from the last one. I did the double dick twist. You probably can't even hear the audio, but it is absolute ear deafening.
Yeah.
One of the videos, there's actually of me actually doing hitting the finish after the fucking not finishing them off, but I mean,
hey, that kind of show, huh?
But hitting
It's crazy. It is crazy. It's a fun show.
This crowd, they pop for the most simplest
shit.
things. You can do a shoulder tackle and take a bump, and the entire crowd loses their mind.
I did a butterfly suplex, and the crowd was like, "Holy crap!" Suplex, and I was like,
"Yeah, I definitely gotta get out there for those."
No bumps, and they would lose their mind. But then if you're doing flippy shit, they're literally just
explode.
They're gonna explode.
Definitely reach out to cousin Larry.
Is he the one running it?
Yeah, cousin Larry does Chinos. Yeah,
I used to watch him on like NWA shows. Like we used to go to the NWA on Fire shows.
Had him on it. It was like Big Cat Wrestling or something.
Oh shit!
I always used to joke around that like every match needs a good dick spot in it.
There's one because every other show I do is more family friendly, and I'm like, I don't want a kid to go home and like go up to their dad and be like, "Grab his dick and twist it." I'm like, no, I don't want the kids to remember me as that.
Oh my god.
Jamie did it, so if everyone else does.
Well, everybody's drunk
go.
and shit. Hit him up. Yeah, definitely hit him up.
Yeah, there's one match I put it's like a count video I put online. We did this one match, and I think it had like 25 dick spots in it. Yeah, it's like a 7-man scramble or something like that. And like right in the beginning of the match, I do something like I hit a guy in the corner, somebody charges me, I move, I hit him. Somebody charges me, I move, I hit him. So there's like 5 people in the corner, and the last guy just booed him so he falls straight back. And like as I step out, first guy face like flare bump, headbutt to the dick. I look and I went, ooh. So I start throwing people down into this man's junk. And then the same guy later on tries to go for like a moonsault. So I swat him and crotch him. hang him in the tree of woe, and I climb up on the middle, and I go 10 punches.
Oh,
Somebody pulls me
my
down, and I
God.
grab him, and I go 10 headbutts. And just start ramming this man's head into this other man's balls.
See,
It
you
was-
did that at Geno's, they'd eat
They'd
that up.
pop. They'd
Oh,
yeah,
they would be
scream.
screaming numbers. Like,
Oh,
They'd be
yeah,
screaming.
I gotta get out there now. I was
Definitely.
always wondering like what other good shit like companies were out in Maine. Like the only one I really knew was Limitless because the most well promoted, and then was MSP throws a show too, don't they?
It would be the other show would be Let's
Yeah,
Wrestle
Randy
for
Russell.
So there's- yeah.
Right.
Let's is kind of
Yeah, that's the one.
Limitless is the big one, of course. There's two other pretty good sized companies. There's MEW and MPW. I know. If you go way up in northern Maine, there's Crown. There's of course Larry with NAWA. So there's a few shows floating around.
Yeah.
probably about 3 or 4 outside of Limitless.
And
Yeah.
and of course you get the random like, hey, we got some money, let's throw a show.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you get tax season pro wrestling.
I was about to say tax season pro
I was,
wrestling.
I was being nice. I was
I'm not
being
gonna
nice.
call
I
anyone
was
out,
being
but
nice.
I'll just leave it at that.
I was being nice. Hey,
Yeah.
as long as they pay me when I show up.
Right.
Yeah, as long as
Exactly.
they pay, that's fine. But like, they only show up for one show. They think they're going to run another show, and then they realize, fuck, we didn't make any money, so we're going to wait till next year.
All right.
I made
Exactly.
$15.
Exactly.
I ain't
Here's
calling
your-
out any names.
Here's your pay all in fives. I'm like, well, at least I got my pay.
Exactly.
I've been to many a shows where it's you just walk in and go, it's a one and done over here.
It's
Yeah.
a one and
yeah,
done already.
yeah, yeah. You
Supernova.
can tell. You're like, you smell it. What sucks is
Smell it
that's
in
the
the
show
air.
that's the show I gave Pete Corvus a belly-to-belly suplex over the top rope.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's that show.
The ones where I try all sorts of dumb stuff that's never gonna work.
Yeah. It's usually what I use those shows for. I'm like, what can I do here? It's kind of dumb.
It's kind of dumb. And
Yeah.
something I don't usually do.
I've had people bullshit me and try to tell me that they'll give me my dream match, and I'm just like, and this is from tax season pro wrestling shows. I'm like, you ain't gonna give me my dream match that I want, like just because you have all the money in the world, like for one show. No, I'm like, I ain't gonna believe that. And then
JP versus Nick Cage.
no,
So
no, I'm all
technically,
set.
technically, my shortest match ever was against Nick Cage.
Oh,
I was fake Joe Gacy, and it's all of like 8 seconds long.
oh wow.
So like Joe gave me like his vest and like one of those masks, like the glowing mask he had, and like Nick Cage comes out and he's doing his entrance, and I run in from the crowd and I glom him from behind. They ring the bell. I hit the ropes. He guts me, pile driver, choke breaker,
Choke,
1,
yeah.
2, 3. And it's like all of like 7 seconds, something like that. And then they ring the bell again. I went, I'm counting that as one of my matches. It's going on my damn list. God damn it.
They count it.
I'm counting it.
It's like I've always joked, like if we bring in legends, like say we brought in like the Dudleys, right? I don't care if I just ate a 3D. I would cut that as a match against the Dudleys.
Right.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Me and Big Cat used to do a parody ripoff of the Dudleys. We did it for 1 or 2
The
shows.
Mani Cats.
The Mani Cats. Yeah. Cat Scratch Dudley and JPO Dudley. It was great.
Have you guys ever seen the Subway Mania guys?
No.
No.
So it's like this thing out in New York. They call themselves Subway Mania, and it's basically just a bunch of dudes that dress up like WWE wrestlers, and they show up on the subway car.
On the
It's not
subway.
like pre-planned. Like
I've seen on
people are
TikTok.
like literally like trying to get to work, and they just start showing up in wrestling outfits and having a match on the subway.
619s off the poles and shit.
And like somebody will walk in with a door, and like 2 of the guys I know dress up as the Dudleys, and just put a fucking door out in the subway car and start 3Ding people through the doors on the New York
It's
City
on
subway.
their way to a 6-figure job, and they're like, "What in the actual fuck is happening right now?"
Oh, yeah. And now they're starting to get bookings like on actual shows.
That's
No,
like
the
these
Walmart dudes. The Walmart.
Yeah, the Walmart dudes, same thing.
They weren't they on AEW like once? Like,
You mean the
or
Costco
something?
You want
guys?
to put a bathroom?
No, Costco guy is a whole different thing. The
Oh, okay.
Walmart dude's got a spot on either some indie bookings or something. And
Oh, yeah.
you saw the crazy shit that they were doing off of those like scaffolds. I'm like,
No
oh my
shit.
God, dude.
No shit.
Yeah.
I'm out here hitting these roads, breaking my damn back.
And all I gotta do is Spanish fly somebody through a table at Walmart to get booked.
Apparently.
Scaffold. On the floor. They're doing those bumps on the floor. That's why people were like watching those and like, ooh, like
All right.
I don't know how they could do that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well, thank you again, Smiley, for coming on. This was awesome. We definitely got to do this again sometime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime.
And, hopefully we'll see you at a next Geno's show.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Please send me that contact info so I can make sure to hit
Yeah,
him
I
up.
will after the show I'll send you it to you.
Hell
I
yeah.
was gonna say, Lee's probably already talked to him, so
Yeah, Lee's probably already in chats with him right now.
There's
Thank you,
only
Lee.
one other masked
Wing,
person on
Smiley.
the shows, so but like
Yeah.
you would definitely, get the crowd going.
Yeah, but
100%.
his mask gimmick and his Smiley's mask gimmick are two different gimmicks.
Totally different gimmicks, but like still, it'd be better to have more masked people on the
Oh yeah,
Fuck, I'll bring back Ox if it means a triple threat.
What?
I'll bring back Ox. Fucking.
Oh,
My,
he has it too. Oh my god!
Oh, there you go.
Just for
man.
shits and giggles, I'll bring back Ox.
I have one of the masks that Mason X still made for me. That was the Penguin Power version. It
oh
was
my
all
god.
practice shit and everything. Yeah, I'll bring. We'll all do mass pro wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Just do a whole match where like the only way to win is to unmask the other person.
Take the mask. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So.
Oh
Man.
shit. Well, thank you again for coming on. Check out all his dates. You got Instagram and any of those ones that they can follow you on?
Oh yeah, sorry. Instagram, Twitter, both, and I think TikTok. Even though I'm terrible about posting on there, I think it's all the same. It's on Smiley_Lucha.
I think I follow you on those.
You can find me on Facebook. It's under Ernest Price. I have a pro wrestling tee store if you'd like to buy some t-shirts. I got a little 6-year-old, and diapers are expensive. Boy, don't want to learn how to use the damn potty.
Oh boy.
Actually, he turns 6. He turns 6 tomorrow. Just a couple hours.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yeah. I'm gonna take him to the trampoline park.
There you go.
You gotta show him some moves.
Yeah, give him
Boy, let me show you how to take this superplex.
Oh shit. Oh
He'd
yeah.
be yelling in the background. I'm surprised y'all ain't heard him yet.
No,
Oh,
the kids, man, we tune them out at this point.
Exactly.
I can hear him yelling at Mickey Mouse now.
Oh well, thank you again, Smiley, so much. You have yourself a good night. We'll hopefully we'll see you soon.
Hell yeah, guys! Thank you, guys.
See you later, buddy.
See you, bud.